Peace be upon you, brothers and sisters. This is Said Mirza from MillionaireReason.com, and in today's talk, I wanted to look at the OceanGate Titan submarine disaster in the context of the Quran. This talk is going to be based on my article, which is published on my website, and I put a link in the drop-down box below if you want to just read the article. So let's begin. A lesson for the elites: the OceanGate Titan submarine disaster. Unless you have been living under a rock for the past month, you might have heard of the disaster that befell the Titan submarine, which was taking a bunch of elites to see the Titanic wreckage. But perhaps you may have not heard of an even greater disaster, which happened 4 days before this submarine disaster, in which close to 600 refugees drowned when their overcrowded fishing boat capsized near Greece's coast. So basically, they were traveling on a fishing boat, and they were close to 600 refugees, and certain actions were taken by the Greek Coast Guard that imply that it was because of that the boat capsized. I mean, a lot of this is in the realm of speculation now, and the facts are being covered up, so I do encourage you to do your own investigation. But anyway, coming back to the topic at hand, the question still remains that why did the drowning of these 600 refugees get so little media coverage, whereas 5 people, tourists who died on this Titan sub disaster, they're still in the news, and a lot of money is being expended into salvaging the craft and into answering the questions. Well, the reason is simple. It is because the friends of the occupants of the sub own the media. They are the elites, and they want to make sure that everyone on earth remembers and feels sorry for their friends. Yet, as we shall see, this disaster is a lesson for the unbelieving elites that they may take heed. That, like their drowned pals, they too have no place of refuge from God. But before we continue, I wanted to take a look at the profile of the occupants of this Titan sub to show you that these men were truly of the elites. It is not within a common man's means to pay a $250,000 ticket to go explore the Titanic wreckage 12,500 feet underwater. We first start with Shahzada Dawood, my fellow countryman, who was the vice chairman of the Anglo Corporation, a conglomerate headquartered in Karachi, Pakistan. From his Wikipedia page, it seems he had fingers in a lot of pies through his philanthropic endeavors. And if you don't know by now, the elites, the way they further their agendas and get more money into the pockets is through foundations and philanthropies. So this is from the Wikipedia article. From 1996 to 2023, Dawood had been a trustee of the family foundation, the Dawood Foundation, which focused on education. TDF had been coordinating the Hussain Dawood Pledge, a private donation to fight COVID-19 in Pakistan. He had been focused in efforts to provide mental health support to people hit by the COVID-19 in Pakistan. Dawood was also a trustee of the Angro Foundation, a member of the Global Advisory Board for Princess Trust International, a charity founded by Charles III, and a board member of the SETI Institute. And the SETI Institute is obviously the institute that was set up to explore, to make contact with the intelligent life forms that are supposedly, eventually going to communicate with us or invade us, or whatever narrative they're going to push later on. Anyway, coming back to the article, his son, age 19, was also on board, and obviously we don't have a lot of information about his son. Moving on to the next occupant of the sub, Hamish Harding. This explorer seemed to have an insatiable appetite for thrill-seeking and apparently a lot of money to burn. And this is from a Wikipedia article going over his exploits. And this is kind of a long read, so I'm just going to show you bits and pieces. You can go on the article and read the rest of it if you want. Okay, so in the 1990s, Harding worked in the information technology industry, and he was the managing director of Logica India. And then he started a private investment company, Action Group. And then he started another company called Action Aviation. And apparently he worked with an Antarctic VIP tourism company, White Desert, and they flew the elites to the Antarctic region, which if you don't know, that's kind of a hot spot for some reason. They want to go there and check it out, but it's off limits to the common folks. Again, the elites, they live in a different world and they have different rules than you and me. Anyway, moving forward, apparently he has a bunch of records. He between 9 and 10, 11 July 2019, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing, which was obviously fake. Harding, along with 10 everts, led a team of aviators that took the Guinness World Record for a circumnavigation of the Earth via the North and South Poles in a Gulfstream G60 50R in 46 hours. And, okay, I'm sure that's an achievement. Anyway, and then he apparently went to dive to the deepest point of the Mariana Trench in the Challenger Deep at a depth of approximately 11,000 meters, etc., etc. This one is interesting. In September 2022, Harding's aviation company Action Aviation supplied a customized Boeing 747 aircraft to transport 8 wild cheetahs from Namibia to India to launch the introduction of the Cheetah to India project of the Indian government and the Cheetah Conservation Fund in Namibia. And obviously, the elites, they really care about the animals and, the environment. So obviously, they're going to, reserve a special customized Boeing 747 to transport 8 cheetahs. That's something that they would do, whereas human beings, they're expendable. Okay, finally we have the last document and the sub. Well, obviously there was the guy who was in charge of the sub. He was the founder, so we're not going to go over him. Obviously he didn't pay for the ticket, but finally we have here Paul Henry Nargiolet, age 77 years, who seems to have been the poorest of the lot, spending most of his life in service to the French Navy and retiring at the rank of frigate captain. And obviously when I say poorest, I mean in the sense that comparatively to the rest of the occupants, because he did have enough money to fork over $250,000 to pay for a seat on the OceanGate Titan sub. And that's all the information I have for him. Again, you can look these guys up more and see what they were involved in. There's a lot of other schemes going on behind the back. And if this still does not convince you that these men were the elites, then consider that the search and rescue operation for this submarine has already cost the American taxpayers $1.2 million. So the elites have no problem spending the peasants' money to help their own kind and to search for answers. But when it comes to the common folks, apparently they have no money. Which again brings me back to the refugee boat that sunk off the coast of Greece. The only ship to help this vessel was a super yacht, the Mayan Queen, which was captained by Captain Kirkby. He's the real hero of the story. He was the one who rescued 100 of the 104 survivors. So the Greek Coast Guard was unable to rescue these people. And as I dug into this story, actually, this is a very depressing read, and it seems that there's a lot of things that apparently went wrong, because the boat did not capsize on its own. It was being towed by the Greek Coast Guard, and some survivors have come forward, obviously fearing the authorities, but still saying that the boat was being pulled too aggressively, and that the Greek Coast Guard ship did certain maneuvers that ended up overturning the boat. And also that after the boat was overturned, they continued to make those maneuvers to create large waves. So, I'm not trying to this is in the realm of speculation now. The hard facts have been erased, but God is witness over all things, and He will bring everyone to account. If you want more information, then go to the article on my website and look up the news sources there. This is from CNN, and there's another couple websites, mainstream media, that cover this. So whatever happened was horrendous, no doubt. And it seems like the Greeks have this policy of not accepting the refugees, and they go to great lengths to enforce that. But anyway, coming back to the topic. Now that we have established that the occupants of the doomed submersible were truly the elites, let's look at the Quran and see why this disaster should serve as a lesson for their friends on dry land, including their friend King Charles, who was apparently very troubled by this disaster, and he wanted as much news as he could get on what was going on when this whole saga was happening. So this is from the Quran, A Complete Revelation by Sam Garens, which you can download for free from Quranite.com, or you can read for free from reader.quranite.com. And this is chapter 42, verses 31 through 35. And you cannot escape in the earth, and you have besides God neither ally nor helper. And among his proofs are the ships in the sea like banners. If he wills, he calms the wind, and they remain motionless on its back. In that are proofs for everyone patient and grateful. Or he wrecks them for what they have earned, but he pardons much. And that those who dispute concerning our proofs might know that they have no place of refuge. So, whether we be on land or sea or the sky, we are continuously at the mercy of God, and besides him there is no ally or helper. It is by God's grace that ships and submarines travel in the sea, and if he wills, he can still them. And if he wills, he can destroy them for what they have earned. The occupants of the submarine found out the hard way that they had no protection from God. It remains to be seen whether their friends on dry land take heed and also realize before it is too late that they too have no place of refuge from God, the One, the Omnipotent. That's it for now. God willing, until next time, peace and blessings be upon you.